Hey YouTubers, Culture Confederacy here. Let's talk about Trump. So this is at NBC News, and this is the latest with these federal prosecutors that want to go after Trump. Jack Smith, who looks like he got his law degree out of a Cracker Jack box. So I believe this came out yesterday. It says federal prosecutors reveal evidence they want to use against Trump. His own words. And this is a story by Daniel Barnes and Dara Gregorian. Again, they can't get one person to do the article here. Now, the subheadline is, the special counsel's office said Trump's history of calling election results fraud when he didn't like the outcome and in support of January 6 rioters should be allowed into evidence. Where did he support these rioters? But we'll get into that in just a moment here. And by the way, thank you for subscribing, being a part of this thing called the Culture Confederacy. As you know, I absolutely love doing these videos. You ever have one of those nights where you get home late from work, you get maybe 4 or 5 hours sleep, and you're up, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, have the coffee going, open my windows, it was like 30 degrees outside, I said, to hell with it. So I cranked some Louis Spohr, his Third Symphony, the little Niels Gade, his First Symphony, his overture, In the Highlands. A lot of great stuff this morning. I'm sure my neighbors were giving me dirty looks. But getting to the story, that's my cultural moment for the moment. My cultural moment for the moment. There you go. My cultural moment for the morning. That's what I meant to say. So it's a one-take video. It is what it is. So it says here, Special Counsel Jack Smith plans to use former President Donald Trump's own words against him in the upcoming federal election interference trial. This according to a new court filing. Now, prosecutors said in Tuesday's filing that they want to focus on Trump's long history of calling election results, quote-unquote, fraud when the results don't suit him, as well as his vocal support for violent January 6 rioters. Where did Trump say that he supported these violent rioters on January 6th? I'm looking here at all these statements. I got them right in front of me. Nowhere did he say that he supported these January 6 rioters. Nowhere. In addition to a lengthy list of Trump's public statements over the past decade, the 9-page filing from Smith's office, wow, that's the shortest filing I've ever seen, refers to an incident involving an unidentified Trump campaign employee who allegedly tried to obstruct the 2020 vote count in the battleground state of Michigan. Oh, this is just so juicy here. Which Trump won in 2016 after the tally began to swing Joe Biden's way. Now, according to prosecutors, the employee messaged a lawyer supporting the Trump campaign's operation in Detroit and, quote, encouraged rioting and other methods of obstruction when he learned that the vote count was trending in favor of the defendant's opponent. Well, you see, Mr. Smith, you see, you dumbass federal prosecutors, you're going to have to prove intent. You're going to have to connect the dots and show that Trump somehow instructed this person personally to go and tell people to riot and to stop the vote. That's what you're going to have to do. You have to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Folks, they've got nothing here. It's all hearsay, she said, they said, I said, you said, that he said, because we heard somebody else say it in the other room, on the phone somewhere. It was in a text message somewhere. We can't find the text message. Go ask Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Now, of course, this was this event that happened at the TCF Center in Detroit. Remember that? Where they're putting cardboard on the windows? But no, there was nothing nefarious going on there. No. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. Now, the TCF Center has been renamed the Huntington Place. Well, why is that? Maybe somebody should investigate that. Why did you have to rename this place after the election the Huntington Place? Why couldn't you just left it as the TCF Center? Or were you trying to be more inclusive in the 2020 election? Or the upcoming 2024 election? Thereafter, Trump made repeated false claims regarding election activities at the TCF Center, now the Huntington Place, when in truth his agent was seeking to cause a riot to disrupt the count. So Trump personally talked to this agent on the phone. He said, you know, I want you to go to the TCF Center, and I want you to tell people to riot. I want you to tell people to look over other people's shoulder while they're making their ballot, making their vote, punching that little box. What do they do now? Remember in 2000, the swinging chads? I was in Florida for that one. The bulk of the filing focuses on Trump's comments before and after the 2020 election when he sought to sow doubt about the results and intimidate those who challenged him. Again, where's the intimidation? How exactly did he do that? You know, it's one thing to say you don't like the results of an election when you're a candidate or as an observer. It's an entirely different thing to go to a voting booth, polling place, and be over somebody's shoulder and point a gun on him and say, you must vote this way or the other. Two completely different things, and Jack Smith knows it. Molly Gatson, Senior Assistant Special Counsel, cited a tweet from Trump in November 2012. Oh, we got a tweet now. That she said made, quote, baseless claims that voting machines had switched votes from then-candidate Mitt Romney to then-candidate Barack Obama. Who the hell cares what he said? He wasn't running in 2012, you dimwit. And I didn't vote for Trump. Okay, I didn't vote for Trump, but it's so much fun to watch this, comment on it, because that's what I have to do as a YouTuber, right? Quote, during the 2016 presidential campaign, now keep in mind they're missing something here. They're not mentioning something in this article, something very important. They're leaving out a very important, crucial detail here about the 2016 election, and I think you all know what it is. Let me take a sip of my coffee here, clear my throat. See, this is what happens when you're on the phones all night at work, checking people in, talking for 8 hours straight. I'm surprised I can talk here. So during the 2016 presidential campaign, this defendant claimed repeatedly with no basis that there was widespread voter fraud, including through public statements and tweets. Statements like those, prosecutors argue, illustrate Trump's plan of falsely blaming fraud for election results he does not like. Again, he was not running in 2012. And how are you going to connect the dots here? You've got to prove, beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Trump intended to lie about the 2016 or 2020 election, whenever it was, that he intended to overthrow the government, to halt the election. And as I recall, didn't the electoral process go through? Yeah, it was stalled for a bit because of these dumbass rioters. People who were being violent at the Capitol should be punished accordingly. Hear that, YouTube? I'll repeat it again. Those who committed all these violent acts January 6th should be prosecuted accordingly. A spokesperson for Trump, Stephen Chung, last name C-H-E-U-N-G, said crooked Joe Biden, deranged Jack Smith, and the rest of the hacks and thugs attempting to interfere in the 2024 election are getting so desperate to attack President Trump that they are perverting justice by trying to include claims that weren't anywhere to be found in their dreamt-up fake indictment. President Trump will not be deterred. So what it sounds like to me that Jack Smith's trying to do here sounds to me like Jack Smith and all these cats, these prosecutors, federal prosecutors, are trying to throw 10 cases into one. Now, Trump is charged with conspiracy to defraud the United States government, or the United States. Again, you got to prove intent. You got to prove how he did it. What did you know? When did you know it? That's the first thing you learn whenever you take any class regarding the law. What did you know? When did you know it? What was your intent? And you have to have solid evidence to connect the suspect to the crime. He was here, or he was there on X date at X time, and we have it on videotape. Also, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction and conspiracy against the right to vote, and to have one's vote counted for trying to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. Whose vote was not counted here? Who was prevented from voting? The Electoral College. Well, didn't they, as I mentioned earlier, didn't they go through the process, even though it was halted for how many hours it was because of these dumbass rioters? Who, let's be honest here, not all of them were probably Trump supporters. I mean, can you just be honest for once? Those of you on the ultra-left? Oh, I know I drive people crazy when I do that. You're just sitting on the fence. No, I'm an independent voter who uses logic and reason, and I think both parties are full of crap. In fact, I think we should get rid of the presidency. Get rid of the damn thing. Why do we need the presidency? Now, if we still need it for these checks and balances and power, okay, fine. Leave it at the federal level. Bring everything back to the states. I bet you if we brought everything back to the states, did away with early voting, set aside one day a year that everybody goes and votes, you wouldn't have this problem. You wouldn't have this problem. But you see, we got to elect our guy into office because he's going to fix America. But that's what they're trying to do here. As I mentioned, they're trying to throw 10 cases into one. And I think by doing that somehow they're going to get Trump. Again, all goes back to what did you know? When did you know it? What was your intent? And they're going to have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump was guilty of these crimes. Prosecutors said they intend to show how Trump had an established pattern. So we're saying these patterns are what shows that Trump is guilty. These patterns. Not the evidence, but these patterns of behavior. An established pattern of using public statements and social media posts to subject his perceived adversaries to threats and harassment. Who exactly was harassed? Who exactly was threatened here? That's what I'd like to know. Show me the evidence, damn it. Among other examples, the filing points to Trump's treatment of 2 Georgia election workers who were falsely accused of rigging votes by Trump and his allies. The filing says Trump continued to falsely attack the pair. Okay, did he violently attack them? May sound like I'm splitting hairs here, but in a court of law, this is really important. This is really important. This is meat and potato stuff here. Continue to falsely attack. Now, if, he slandered their character somehow, they might have an in here to file a lawsuit for slandering their character, for libel. I mean, that is a possibility, but you're going to have to prove it. Despite being on notice that his claims about them in 2020 were false and that subjected them to vile, racist, and violent threats and harassment. What are these vile, racist threats? Where's the harassment here? Who carried out the harassment? Was it Trump himself? Was it somebody else who voted for Trump? Or could it be somebody who was posing as a Trump supporter online to post a text or a tweet to make it look like it was a Trump supporter who engaged in harassment and vile racist statements? You be the judge. So I thought I'd share this with you. Don't want to go too long in the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you know what to do, again, article at NBC News. Federal prosecutors are going to go after Trump now using his own words. We'll see how this plays out. But if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Like I said, also follow me at Instagram, #JasonComposes, because I write music in my spare time. Or you can find me at X, Culture Confederacy, at CultureConfed1 on X. This is the Culture Confederacy saying peace out. Stay safe, everybody. God bless this thing called the United States. And y'all have a great Wednesday afternoon.